Hi everyone, Kieran over Zapkin from Filmstorm Studios, bringing you another exciting look at a new asset I'm creating and the new GTA tutorial series that I'm just polishing, so get ready, it's going to be released really soon. I'm currently finishing off the weapon animation system, and as you can see we've got a really nice movement system going here. He blends really nicely with his walking, but that's not what I'm excited to show you today. I'm excited to show you the GTA switching player system, I guess that's what we'd call it. And if anyone's familiar, you can press down on the D-pad in GTA and it actually pulls the camera above like the city, moves to a new player, and then goes back down. So you can usually move between like Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, are the characters in GTA. So if I press down on the D-pad, we go up, we locate the new player, we come down, and then we assume control of that new player. And how nice is that? And it also removes that other player from the game state. Also in the tutorial series, a lot of people have been asking about setting up a camera collision system. So we're going to have a look at how to set that up. So you can see that we've got these beams here. So if I move the camera above the player and then walk, see how we collide really nicely and we move in between them. And also if I move into the wall, you can see that the camera collides really nicely and doesn't just go through the wall. Instead, it actually moves forward. And another little subtle detail is the depth of field system for the camera. So you can see if I move really closely and look down, the back of the game space actually blurs out a bit. And if you play GTA, that's a little subtle detail that you'll notice. Something that we won't be covering is the IK system. This is actually using Final IK, which is a really nice IK system. I actually recommend you to check out the assets. Really simple to set up and gives really nice results. And another thing that I've set up is the sprinting system, so you can mash the A button like in GTA to sprint around, or you can just hold the A button and do the running animation. And yeah, the Final IK is such a nice IK system. Just look at how it places the feet. It takes a little bit of fiddling to get the values the right way. Actually, I recommend using some of the prediction settings, and that way you can actually he moves his feet up in preparation for it. So that should be really nice. So let me show you the character switcher once again. So you can press down, and you can see that new player spawned there. So we come back down, and bam, we're in. So normally what we could do is actually put some animations in for the player. So when he comes in, he might be like sipping a coffee and throwing it away, or sleeping on a bench like in GTA, and then getting up and getting ready to move. So you can see that that system works really nicely, and it cleans up the scene as well once the other player disappears. And you'll notice if I keep walking and then press the change button, we now spawn into this player over here, and then we come down. So that's pretty exciting. And once more. So it's something that can be used a lot and doesn't break. And as you can see, it actually handles also switching between the heights of the walls. So you can see how we're down here. If we move down here, depending on where this next spawn point is, it's going to be on the ground or up top. So now you can see that we actually moved upwards, and the camera got all the new positions and data and moved up there accordingly. So let me just show you quickly what's happening. Put the controller down. Let's jump over to the player. And in switch player, we've got the big FSM. I haven't bothered renaming these yet, just because it was easier for me just to quickly go through. But one thing that you need to do on the player side of things is inside the player, there's a little thing called camera out. And this is basically where the three positions are where the camera moves up. So you know how the camera moves up into the sky? You got the first one, which goes boom, and then it comes bam, and then wham. So it kind of it moves up into the sky in those three stages. And then when we move to the new player, actually let me just show you what happens on the side here. So you can see we've got all the spawn points that I've put around the map. So we've got one there, we've got one in this corner, one there. You saw that the player spawned there, one under there, one on there. So we've just put spawn points all over the place, and the system automatically finds a spawn point and randomly goes to it. So that's how we pick spawn points. Now, if we come into the game view and you keep an eye on this hierarchy, what's going to happen? So if I pause it, what we've done is we've spawned the new player. So you can see it's spawned here at that spawn point. All right. And if we scroll down to these, we're basically moving the player's camera base, this camera base, from this player up to here. So we've already done that. So that's in the correct position, ready to go for when the camera moves and resets itself onto the player. So now we're moving over here. All right, and now you'll see this player is removed from the game, and he's all gone. And now we're ready to go with our new player. So how good is that? And that's how we switch between the players in that state. So let me show you the switch player FSM. So basically, we also need to make these little switch out and switch in global variables. So the cloned player starts in switch out, because otherwise he's going to be going through the same states. So we say on the start, we're going to get the D-pad down, and this is what actually moves it to here. Then we set the main camera to nothing, so it's not actually inside this camera base anymore. It's by itself in the world. We send the event to switch out to everything else except the state, because it needs to keep running through. This is on the current player. And then we find the player to destroy, which is this object. And we also find the camera base. And we need to find the camera base because we need to move it to the new player. So then we move the camera, we I-tween it out, and that's when we start moving it upwards. And basically that's just to that first position, like I was saying, to this position. To that first one in the sky there. And then we also rotate the camera down. So that's when we look down at the world. And then we find the closest camera base again, just in case we didn't find it. And we also find the main camera. We set the player's tag to untagged. So that way, when we find the new player that's created, we're not finding this current player. And then we wait, and then we spawn the new player, which is that player clone that you saw before. And then we find the 3 camera outs. So these are these ones. And then we continue moving out to them. That's basically all we're doing with the more I-tweens. And then we actually go and delete all of them because we don't need these camera outs anymore. And then we find the new camera outs of that new player, and then we move back in, if that makes sense. So basically we go 1, 2, 3 out, and then we find the new nodes, and then we go 1, 2, 3 in, and then we're back at the player. So basically we just simulate this backwards. So we go 3, we get the player's position, the new player's position, because that's when we're going to start moving all the camera base and everything. So that should be pretty cool. And then we keep moving the camera back in. This is when we set the camera base, so we move the actual camera base to the new player that's created. Get that position, basically just moving stuff around. We're still moving the camera in. And now we move the camera to the player's position, so that normal player camera. And then we set the parent back to the player's camera position, so back to that camera base. We're creating a camera follow to follow the new player around, and we're offsetting that at the right height. And then we reset the camera's rotation. And now we say to everything, okay, we switch back into playable state. and we're setting the parent to the camera follow to the new player so we can follow the player now. And then we set the spawn point to nothing because we need a new spawn point the next time we work it. And the last state is we destroy the old player. And then you get left with that system that it switches out, pulls back, spawns that new player, moves to the new player, comes in, and voila, you have that new player with really nice blending animations. So I hope everyone's excited to get started on this new tutorial series. It's taken me quite a while to record everything, so I hope you're going to be really happy with it. I'll be putting up all these assets on my Gumroad, so please go and check it out. I'm going to be putting up the GTA walking animations, so you can see we've made these custom animations for it, and they're really, really nice. They're really casual, and we'll also put up the running animations and the sprinting animations, and that's all in that one pack. So go check that out. I'll be putting up the rifle animations and also ragdolls, jumping, and also ambient AI assets. And all the different assets will be called filmstorm.move or filmstorm.ai and filmstorm.rifle or filmstorm.car, because there's also vehicles in GTA, so we need to cover that as well and set up those animations. So please, if you want to get started well on the tutorials, come and support me on Gumroad and buy a couple of assets, and it will help me out a great deal and help create more great tutorials for you guys and keep me motivated. So I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial, and thanks for watching.